Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We are live once more. It's Friday again, so here we are with our next guest, which is Karim today, and our co-host over there is Greg.
Hi, everyone.
Karim Ali is going to tell us all about his business and everything. So if you have any questions for us, please put it into the comment section, and we will look at them and answer them for you. So welcome, Karim. How are you today?
Doing well. Yeah,
Good.
thank you for having me. Good to see you.
Thanks for coming down. It's a fun little thing that we do, and it's a nice way to get everyone to know about your business. So tell us what you do and how long you've been doing it.
Yeah, so my name is Karim. For those of you who don't know, I've joined Culver City Biz pretty recently, maybe like the last 2 months or so. So I've been trying to make it out to the events and stuff like that, but my business has been around for 3 years. It's called ACTsavi, and we are a tech implementation firm. Pretty much fancy way of saying we help with all your tech needs. So like if you need, for example, software that will help your business with automations, or like you want to see how data works in your business, then that's where I could come in and help actually implement and integrate a lot of that stuff into your pipeline. And I kind of work across the board. So like I'll start off with anything from like setting you up with like a website and things at that level, all the way up to like enterprise grade AI applications, or even just software that helps your business grow. I partner with a lot of smaller businesses in case we have like a huge workload. I also have a lot of partnerships with companies that implement a lot of these software for your business. So pretty much any questions that you have, like you could send them my way. I'm definitely the kind of guy that likes to tinker with things. So if you have even like the most obscure question, I love diving deep into it and figuring it out and making sure that it's something that can help for you.
So in case you missed that, that was ACTsavi, right?
Yes.
And tell me how you got that name.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
Yeah, so actually, it is doing business as ACTsavi. I started off with Savi Computer Works, and a lot of the Savi part I actually like named after my wife. So
Okay.
yeah, so I wanted to like kind of, she was like the reason why I even got into entrepreneurial stuff anyway. So like that's why I kind of wanted to have something that was kind of like related to her nickname. So Savi Computer Works was what I kind of started off with. It was like a lot of computer repair things, and one day my wife actually was like, why don't you, like, you're trying to help businesses act savvy, why don't you just go with ACTsavi? And I was like, oh, that's actually really, really good. And then it was available, so I was like, cool, let's do it. So
Is
that
her
night,
name Savina?
yes.
I think she's watching, so
Oh.
hi.
Hi, Savina. We're taking good care of him, don't worry.
We won't bite.
You'll be home safe.
Awesome. Yeah. So, so a lot of the inspiration came from that. So, there is actually a also back end meaning to it as well. So, like I come from an aerospace background, so
Okay.
that's where the A comes from. And then I had a lot of experience with like certifications and things like that. So C, and then technology T. So there was like that little acronym as well.
You really thought this out, man.
Yeah, there was like many levels to it, but I think the nicest thing is you can tell people that I help your business act savvy. So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought you were just
I
going to
like
say,
that.
oh, it's a full name, and go with that. But that's a good story behind it. Okay.
yeah, thank you.
How did you get started in all this? What was the first thing that drew you to the tech world?
Yeah, so I started my time in aerospace engineer by degree, and I worked at the Air Force. I worked for a small manufacturing company. I worked at SpaceX. You know, and like all airplanes, rockets, I feel like for me were really cool from a distance, but like being in it, it was very mundane. But a lot of the stuff that I was doing actually on the background was tech, right? So I did a lot of data engineering, a lot of understanding how data works, both with like aircraft sensors and like how manufacturing data works. And then I was talking to who ended up being my first client, and he just asked me out of the blue, like, hey, I have a lot of data with my customer relationship management system. Can you help me do something with it? And I was like, yeah, of course. Of course I know what that means as an aerospace engineer. So,
Why not?
right, so I dove into it, and sure enough, like I actually realized, like, oh, I actually really like doing this tech stuff, and I really understand it. So why not just, instead of this mundane, boring, for me, aerospace field that like I just enjoyed seeing the plane and rockets, why not actually do something I really love, be my own boss, and like jump into actual like data engineering and helping, especially small and medium-sized businesses in Los Angeles. Like, and I'm kind of jumping into a little tangent here, but like one thing I've noticed was all these companies like such as Salesforce, if you've heard of that, they're kind of moving towards enterprise only, but they're kind of leaving behind their small to medium sized business reason that they started, right? So now they're kind of leaving this whole entire market that all these companies are like, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars a month when I need this one functionality, you know, and they're aggressive too. So they're like, even if you start off with like their starter package of like $50 a month, let's say, they'll easily tack on another $1,000 with all these added little features that you want, right? So I feel like being able to actually understand what a business needs and understanding like where their data is and stuff, and creating an actual application that helps them understand like what to do with the data is where I thrive, and that's kind of the niche that I started.
And a little bit more of the smaller businesses versus what you were saying, go directed at more larger corporations.
So you can simplify it for them and put
Yeah,
them on track.
you want most businesses, especially like business owners, you tell them, I want to click one button and it does all of this stuff. I don't care how it happens. I just want my data to be in this spot.
Who wouldn't want that?
Exactly. That's what I come to do.
Very good.
What kind of data?
So
That's a great question.
yeah, that's a great question. Data comes in a lot of forms,
Yes.
right? So you could have anything from like PDFs, you could have anything from spreadsheets. A lot of nowadays databases are really good and they're really strong, right? Because you want your data to not be corruptible. A lot of people use Excel spreadsheets, which I've actually seen companies where like somebody's typing a message on Slack or like they're on something else and they accidentally put it into their spreadsheet, and then now that propagates with all their systems, right? But a database, you can't do that. There's actual operations you have to do in order to actually make any changes to the database.
So fail safe.
Yes.
You won't screw it up.
Exactly. And a lot of businesses that I deal with are really small. So like their data is anything from like how many likes am I getting on Instagram? I want to run Google ads. How many viewers am I seeing on my website? You know, like things like
So
that.
it gathers all that information for you?
Yes.
Oh.
Not automatically. So that's where I come in to make sure that I get the data and make sure it goes directly to where you want it to be.
Do you think that most people are tech savvy enough today to catch on to what you do quickly when you show them the program, or are they still sort of struggling with it?
It depends.
Yeah,
I think
I would imagine, but it just seems, I know some people absolutely, no matter what you show them, they just can't do it. So you have to make it as simple as possible.
right, and that's, I think with conversation and like just out of naturally understanding the client's needs, I will figure out like they are not tech savvy at all, so I just want them to click a button and it does it, right?
Okay.
Or if you're really tech savvy, it's like, here's the data. So like instead of having to
That's what I was referring to.
because there's also a lot of times I do a lot of my integrations onto the cloud systems. So like Azure, Amazon Web Services, or Google Cloud. A lot of those services actually depend on compute. So you're using the computer in the cloud, right? And you spend money for that compute service. So if you're tech savvy, you're like, I don't want to spend money on that. Like, I just want my data cleaned up so that I can understand it with my own system. And that's where I come in and make sure I understand the requirements and spit out exactly what you're looking for.
So you got a question that says, can you assist small businesses that are looking to revamp their existing websites?
Yes, definitely. So I can kind of do pretty much everything. So like, let's say you have Squarespace or Wix, or you're using one of those services. Shopify. I can come in and actually like help revamp that website on your service. Or I could even build it completely from scratch and create a full customized website doing exactly what you want. I have a lot of businesses that they're like, I just have a lot of videos that I want to show and I want it linked to my Instagram. But
so like a program like Shopify, which is more of an e-commerce, right? Because it's mostly products that people are selling. And every once in a while, like after you get it going, and it's easy to get it started in some form or another. But then once you get it started, there's all these things that they tell you that you could add and delete. And how do you know what's the best one for you to get, for your business? Is that something you could help with?
Yeah. So I like to look at what you need and kind of figure out like, do you actually need a lot of the stuff that Shopify throws at you? Because they're trying to make their money, right?
Exactly.
So, and the best way to make the money is just to throw things that are like confusing to you, and you're like, well, okay, if I need this, sure, click yes and accept, But if you don't understand what's going on, it does actually help you to go to somebody who does know what's going on and understand like what they're actually asking you to pay money for, right? And a lot of services that I've seen, especially with my former clients, is they pay for the service and they're like, I don't even know what I paid for, right?
Exactly.
And I can actually look through their quote and their purchase orders and stuff and say like, you're not using like, for example, like Google Workspace Premium. You're only using it for email, so like you can downgrade it so you're not wasting all that money every month.
It's very confusing. I've been with Shopify since like pretty much when they first started. Okay?
Oh wow.
And at that point, one of the biggest things that we liked about it was that you could call somebody and get someone on the phone and they would help you.
Yeah.
It's no longer that
No.
way. And they throw all this stuff at you about like different, themes and whatever. I mean, I'm just using that as an example, but like a lot of it, like I don't understand what it is, so I either not get it, I might need it, but I don't get it, or, I got it and I don't use it.
Right. And that's purposely done. Like they spend so much money on how do I sell my product so that we make our money from our end, appease our shareholders. Like that's the ones that they're looking at it, but from a small business perspective, like this is dangerous. Like if your costs are just creeping up, let's say like, especially with like tariffs and everything happening right now, your margins are getting lower and lower. Like little things like that actually really affect small businesses. And that's kind of the reason why I actually like doing what I'm doing, because I want to help the small businesses that I feel like are being left behind with that exact mentality from like Shopify and things like that.
Every penny counts.
Yes.
When you're doing this in a small business, absolutely.
Yeah, like if you're getting orders, you want to make more than what you're paying for your website,
Right.
every month. Right?
Yeah, everything's an ROI, right?
Yeah.
You're spending money with the expectation that you're going to make money from it,
Right.
But if it's just wasting money away, like what's the point of this?
Exactly. We have another. Hi, Todd. Okay, so let's see. Can you tell us the name of your site, and does it have reviews or letters of recommendations from prior clients?
Yes. So my website is ACTsavi, so kind of like how my shirt says, so ACTsavi.com.
Okay.
So super easy. I don't have reviews of my website at the moment. Maybe it's probably not a bad idea to throw that in there. Just ask for
You can write your own too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of businesses actually do that. It was funny because there's one website in particular that has like this specific picture that I see on like half the websites I looked at, and it's like this person has said this great review, and it changes. The review changes every time, and that picture's always there, so I know where that has been. But it wouldn't be a bad idea. I do have clients that are really happy with the services that I provide, and I've done anything from like small scale to like enterprise side. So I feel like maybe reviews would be awesome. But if you need a referral or something, like if you want to ask, like please let me know, and I'll be happy to send you over to my clients and let them give you a review personally.
References available upon request.
Yes.
All right.
That makes me sad that people are writing their own reviews. I read the reviews a lot of everything. So.
Yeah, I mean the websites are kind of custom. So the websites that point to the review sites, like Google reviews, Yelp, you can't really manipulate those.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're looking at the website and just scrolling, like technically you control the content. So you can
Okay, gotcha. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but like for my clients, what I actually do is I'll go into their Yelp and their Google, and I'll pull actual reviews and stuff, and like I'll
put it on there.
Yeah, and it's linked. So like if you go and you click on that review, like it'll actually link to the real post. So like I understand that there's a lot of people who try to get away with like, oh yeah, this is a fake review, but I at least try to highlight the good things about the business so that you're putting your best foot forward on your website. And while I'm on that topic, I might as well throw in that as there's been a research paper, and don't quote me the exact number, but 73% of traffic is still on Google or some sort of search engine. So a lot of people are focusing a lot of their efforts on social media and stuff like that, but your website's your number one location. Like everybody looks at your website first, So like
they're still going there to check it out.
And that's your first representation in the digital world is your website. So a lot of places that are like, oh, I'm completely on Instagram and doing my whole entire business off of Instagram, that might work, but there's a huge market that you're missing by not having a website. So
we have some comments going on here. Todd says, love that he wants to help small businesses, especially these days. And then he's agreeing with you that they do that constantly about their own comments, reviews.
Yeah.
And then he says transparency, good. And then let's see. I have another question that says, do you do monthly management and maintenance agreements for websites? And or have you worked on?
Yes. So I have actually, I try to be as transparent as possible. I think transparency is the right word for this. I do have a pricing page on my website. And I guess because you guys are my community, prices are negotiable, but I think they're really fair based off of what I've done a lot of research on to make sure that I'm providing you a service that's the best cost and very tailored to what you need, right? So like you can bundle things together and like try to see what others have used. My bundles are based off of what current clients are using. And my goal is to kind of make it so that you can do month to month in case you're like, I just want to try this out, or I can do it in an annual package, you know, and my hope is to make sure that I can give you the best for your money.
Do you work all remotely for everybody, or do you go into their workspace and do this?
So technically everything is remote, but
Okay.
I like to actually meet the owners in person.
Okay.
Yeah, like maybe I'm a little bit old school in that sense, but like that personal touch in person definitely feels a lot better because right now there's so many services that actually do very similar things that I do, but they're like offshore developers and stuff, and they're like they don't understand what your actual niche is. Like if somebody said, "Hey, I'm based in Culver City, and I need help marketing my business," somebody offshore is not going to know what that means at all, you know. But for me, I'm like, well, I grew up in this community, so like I understand like the needs. I could see how the city's changing, so I can kind of help tailor your website to be a little bit more promotional towards the area you're actually in.
And have you had people tell you that they have results, or have you seen the results of your work? So like, let's say you got them to another level, and then what's their return? Did they sell more product? Did they get more services?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a great question, and I feel like that's for me like my motivation to be working. I actually love hearing stories. For one of my clients, for example, I run his Google ads, and he's on a micro budget, you know, so he's spending like $100 a month on advertising, which is extremely low for Google. But somehow, like the campaign I set up for him, he was able to bring in big clients, and he's in the auto body shop business, so like he's had actual restoration clients come in with like $50,000 jobs and stuff. So like I've actually been able to see results from even small marketing just to make sure that he's able to one market the right product and market it to the right clientele, and you know, like seeing that was exactly what I'm hoping to do for as many clients as I can.
It's so hard because, you know, when we used to do business with the brick and mortar type of thing, that's what you relied on, was the people coming in that saw your as they walked by, or if you were on a main street or something, right? But now it's like a huge amount of competition on the internet.
Yes.
So I mean, everybody, and it's like millions of people that you're competing with instead of just the guy across the street from you. You know, it's so hard. How do you get that? How do you get to that front end?
So the way that I see it is the website is your digital storefront. So that is kind of how people are quote unquote driving by, right? So your website, if it doesn't exist, that's already like setting yourself back.
Even more so than your social media?
I think in a lot of cases,
you need both, right?
You need both. I think social media is a great way to target, especially like the younger demographic. It depends on what actually demographic. So like Instagram, TikTok, that'll hit the younger demographic. Facebook will hit kind of like a little bit older. So like those are always great avenues for marketing. But where are you pointing this market to, right? So like Instagram gives you analytics, but like you can't do too much with it. But a website, you can actually do as much as you can with it.
But the problem is the competition. Everybody's doing it. So
Everybody,
you have
that's
to
what I'm
be unique,
saying,
and you have to
yeah.
stand out.
Yeah, it definitely. And I think the best way to do it is, unfortunately, time. So like the best time to get started is now, if you haven't yet. Especially Google search results, a lot of their times, their results are actually dependent on how long you're on there. That's one of their criteria. It's not the main criteria, but like I've seen my own clients where it takes like 3 months and finally they start popping up on Google searches a little bit more organically. You know, and then in that in-between time, you just spend on ad spend to kind of force your business to the top. You know, there's a lot of avenues to take your business so that you can really shine, I guess, in the digital world. But yeah, I 100% agree. It's hard, and especially with the businesses
it's just more competitive.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I feel like those who make it and get orders like, you know, on a daily basis, they're, you know, good for them, because it's like finding a little needle in a haystack, you know? It's crazy.
And I think the biggest thing too is you can get clients, but how do you retain your clients, right?
That's
So
true.
that's another avenue to even explore. You know, when I talked about the data things, that's kind of what I try to help my clients with. Is you can understand where's a lot of this. Where are your clients coming from, right? Are they coming from Google? Are they coming from Instagram? And then do they like your product? How many of them leave reviews? What do you do with that information? You know, you can actually market back out and be like, hey, if you come back, like I'll give you another 20% discount just to retain that client. You know, and
Do you think that more people are looking for those small businesses? That, I mean, you have Amazon, you can go on there and order just about everything, right? But are there people looking for people that are just like a small business working from their home, creating a product, and it's a single person's operation, you know?
I would think it's a good idea because you get more attention from that person. It's not as much of it's not a huge organization where you can get lost really easily, and it's more of a sales thing. You're actually doing hands-on help.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Trading the convenience factor, the immediate. You know, we live in a society where instant gratification is the
Yeah, it's
thing
got to
right
happen
now,
right
right?
now. But it's got to happen right. That's the thing.
So when you get a product from someone who's actually making it and creating it, you're not going to get it the next day.
Right. And I think there are definitely demographic of people who are looking for that. You know, and just like Greg was saying, like I personally like going to get products that I know is coming the exact way that I want it, right? But if you order something from Amazon, you know that there's somebody who's probably bought 1,000 of them and are posting it in the warehouse, so they just pack it in the box, ship it to you. Sometimes it comes broken, you know, and like maybe you can return it and then everything works out fine. Like you spend that time, but that's so much effort. And then instead of like going somewhere where you know you're gonna get it right the first time.
I guess I'm a little old school. I still like to go to a store.
Yeah, I do too. I agree.
Especially when I'm like buying clothes, I like to touch and feel the fabric, you know. With my jewelry, like I could never just order beads online. Like I would want to touch them and, you know, the gemstones and see the quality of it. Yeah, you know.
And I think storefronts will never go away. So like that's always the nice thing is.
I'm happy that you're saying that because a lot of times it feels like they are going away.
Yeah, and I do feel like the age of like the malls, like mega malls and all that stuff, maybe that'll downsize, but I feel like once it gets to a certain point, it'll tip over the other direction. People are going to say exactly what you're saying. We're like, I want to actually touch and feel the product that I'm about to buy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to try it on. I don't have to worry about shipping.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but you can ask questions and all that other stuff too. Yeah, I mean, it just makes more sense to me. But.
And also, like what you said about, like, you know, I asked you about if you work remotely for most of these things, and you said no. I like to actually meet people in the beginning, right, and talk to them. That's great to hear because I feel like all that personal interaction and all that personal touch, especially since the pandemic has lessened even more, you know, because I guess we learned that we can do all of this remotely, and so that's kind of sticking, you know?
Yeah, and I do feel like, I mean, there's still like a lot of bigger businesses are pushing for return to office and things like that. So I feel like from a large scale perspective, like if you take like a bird's eye view at it, coming into person and like collaborating with people in person, that can never go away. You know, you can try.
Not.
Yeah, you can try with all the remote stuff,
imagine
but
that just vanishing. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to help.
Exactly, and then there's services that go along with people who go in person. You know, like I want to go shopping after work after a long day, so like they'll go to the storefronts and stuff like that. So I feel like that's the reason why in my head I don't think it would never go away forever.
I hope not, because for me it's an activity. It's like, you know, like let's say you went with your best friend and you went shopping, then lunch, and you know, you make a day out of it and you have fun, and you can't do that on the internet.
Do you get a lot of calls from people who just need help with a program now, like not an ongoing type thing, but hey, I'm really struggling with this.
It's a one-time thing.
Yeah, so I get project-based questions all the time, and project execution, I charge based off of that. You know, and like we can make contracts that are based off of that. For example, I was telling you I have a construction company that I'm helping with building an app for him, and once that app is done, like that's pretty much his app. He owns it and everything, you know. So like we could do things like that, but I feel like you're always gonna want somebody who helps you with the project afterwards too. And
Right. I
so
would imagine. Yeah. Something goes wrong, we have questions, and everybody's gonna have questions. Okay.
yeah, exactly. And that's why I feel like going to people and like talking to them in person is definitely like what I like to do, because I feel like they can ask the questions and be more real with you. You know, when you send emails, you sit there and thinking about over and over again, like, is this the right thing? Am I asking the right thing? But in person, just let it out.
It's a lot different.
Yeah, it's a big
it's a lot different. So, how long does it take to build an app? That sounds so major and complicated.
Imagine what it is, but yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. It very much is. It depends. How much data are you looking at? Like, what kind of services do you want to do? AI is a big thing, and I know a lot of people want AI, but I actually tend to say, do you actually need it? You know, a lot of the traditional programming methods are still available, and they're still great. You know, so yeah, it depends on how much stuff do you want to integrate it? How much data are you working with? That depends on. That actually is what causes the project to be long or short. Depends on how you want to do it.
How does okay? So I design and make jewelry. Okay, so I know that there are apps where you can try on glasses and even clothes and things. And is there apps that you can try on jewelry too? I don't remember seeing any, but I haven't really looked.
I know.
And would something like that, if you built something like that, then you just attach it to your website, or how does that work? Or does your website go on the app?
So there's a lot of I've seen it. I haven't seen it personally, like for jewelry, but I know, like, for example, like Snapchat, they're working on creating like essentially like VR for stuff that you could try on, like clothes and stuff like that. They're working with Nordstrom and trying to really get these kind of products out there. If they're doing it for such a big company, I would not be surprised if they're trying to build plugins that you can set it up with the e-commerce websites or like a website like yours. And that's where I would come in and kind of integrate it. So like maybe, I don't know if you would have to host it on their website, but if a lot of them are opening, essentially they have like what are called API endpoints. Like they essentially create like a connector to your site, and then that would come in and pretty much connect the dots for you.
I think that would be awesome, because I think you sell things more if you could try it on.
Yes.
You know?
Sure. Yeah.
So I think it makes a huge difference. I'm going to read some of Todd's comments here. I'm glad he brought up website construction versus Instagram. That's something I didn't do on purpose because I wasn't sure which direction I wanted to go. So yes, not doing the website is a negative. That's true. A large school district in El Segundo was my client and hard to maintain. He says, bingo on the instant gratification. Okay. Well, thank you for those comments. And let me go to the other one and see I think there's some questions there. AI can be kind of cheesy, so glad you prefer using more realistic images for creating websites.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I was going to bring that up. I don't think AI is ready yet for use for everybody. How do you know if it's working or not? What do you recommend?
So there's multiple ways to look at this problem, and I think there's a push from the big companies to get it out into public adoption as fast as possible, because that's how you maintain your market share, right? So there's a lot of competition in that space. So Google's trying to eat up as much competition. OpenAI is trying to get as much. I get Anthropic ads who makes Claude like every other swipe if I'm on Instagram. Like every single ad is basically Anthropic trying to say like use our tools for everything, right? But are they ready? I feel like it all depends on how much. At the end of the day, it's a computer, and AI is essentially ones and zeros in some nebulous cloud that's doing a lot of computations, and it spits back these computations that get translated back into whatever, whether an image or text, right? So I think I have pretty much a joke that I have with my previous colleagues is we always say like stupid computer, and it's because computers are inherently stupid. You actually will never get a result that's really good unless you provide it the information it needs to have
The
a good
exact
result.
information.
Right. So there are.
Then.
And then even then it could be wrong, right? So especially coming from the aerospace world, that's where that joke came from. Was we would have all the sensor input, and then it would say like, oh, like the test passed, and we're like literally watching the mechanical part we're looking at explode, and we're like, well, yeah, stupid computer, you definitely didn't catch that, right? So for AI, if you're not able to provide enough information, it's just gonna it's going to give you garbage. So garbage in is garbage out.
Yeah, but if I don't know that information and I'm relying on that, it's very easy to get steered the wrong way.
Exactly. And it's funny you mentioned that. Deloitte actually had a whole little fiasco where they actually gave a report to the Australian government, and they charged them like some insane amount of money for it. It was like $400,000 for this report or something like that. Found out that it was all AI and it hallucinated all this information.
Really?
So like they actually, they ended up having to refund some of the money back to the government and things like that. But that's the scary part about AI is if you're not careful, it'll hallucinate. So the way that I try to do things, especially for my clients,
Really
is
say it's hallucinating?
yeah. So that's the term.
That's the term?
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes things up.
I do it all the
Randomly.
time.
Yeah.
Well, you I understand.
It makes sense to me.
Right, so
Thanks for that question,
Yeah,
It's a
Christine.
great question.
that's a great question. I try to give my clients kind of like the best of both worlds. And I think if you have a human who's able to like look through the images, let's say if you wanted to have like AI generate, for example, like your jewelry, and you want to have if you pay a model to come in and take pictures and do all this stuff, it could be quite expensive. And let's say you're like, that didn't really work out, or you didn't really bring the model back in, update things, and that's where like AI can kind of come in. And honestly, AI just makes it easy, but in reality, Photoshop's always existed, so like you can just Photoshop as well. So it kind of just all depends on like what your client wants. I try to give them pretty much what they're looking for. If they want something that's AI generated, I'll try to make sure it's the best output possible, and then like be transparent, like, hey, like I can probably get it to about this kind of fidelity because this is the information I'm able to provide it in the first place. Versus like if they just want like me to come out and take pictures, I can do that as well, upload it to the website, and make sure that they have quality content as well.
If you guys just joined, we're talking to Karim Ali, and he is talking about his business, ACTsavi. He does all the internet, AI, build your website, build your database, all of that stuff.
Yes.
So we've been talking, if you missed some of it, go back and watch from the beginning and still put your questions into the comments and he will answer them for you because I tagged him on these. And I wanted to ask you, sticking with the AI situation, what percentage do you see like in 5 years of AI being in every aspect of our
It
lives?
feels like it's taking over, and yet nobody really has a handle on it. It's kind of when the internet first came out, everybody just threw everything at it until eventually it straightened out.
Yeah, and I think AI is that disruptive of a technology that will kind of follow the trend of the internet, the smartphone, right? So like there's a big push right now where phones cannot actually process any of the AI inputs. Like let's say you have ChatGPT as an app on your phone, the phone's not actually computing anything, right? So their computation has to go to the internet, it goes through the servers, and then it spits back out into your phone. And what the technology is moving towards is it's going to be small enough that it can't actually fit in your phone. And when we get to that point, you're going to start seeing mass adoption everywhere because the biggest thing with everything going through the internet is your information's not secure, right? And it's not private. They can use your data for training and stuff like that. There's only very specific use cases where you have to specifically build out the app to be secure by encrypting your information. But even then, in order for OpenAI's servers to actually understand it, it has to be unencrypted, right? So once it gets to the point where it can actually be private and held on your own device without the internet, I feel like that's where you can start seeing mass adoption. You can see it really stick into like every device. That's why I feel like Apple hasn't actually introduced it.
Yeah, I mean they own the phone, but nobody really owns AI right now. It's sort of just out there,
Right.
And there's so many options to use it, and you've got to learn how to use it.
Right, and it's not cheap. And, like they're
No, but that's what I'm saying. In
Yeah.
some cases it's free, in some cases it's off the charts. You don't know what it's worth.
right.
It's what it's worth to you, I suppose,
Right.
now.
Yeah, but once it gets to the point where adoption becomes really easy, which I feel like in the next 5 years, it'll get to that point because there's so much money that's going into it and there's so many use cases for it that I can see that it's going to become like pretty much ingrained. I mean, think about it, like most TVs and fridges and stuff have to be connected to the internet at some point. And I feel like that's going to be the same thing. Everything's going to have AI built into it in some sort of way in the next 5 years.
But who teaches it is the question. How do you, how do you learn it?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's where I would come in and help.
That's right. That's right. You're one, but
Yeah.
but
Do you find that your customers are a certain age group that require your services more than another age group?
I don't think so. I have actually a pretty wide range. I have a couple clients who are like around the same age as me who just started their business, and I have a couple clients that are in their 70s, and they're actually like, oh, I retired and I want to actually, like, one of them's a mobile flower cart. She's like, I want to actually create this mobile flower cart as a like pastime thing that I can make money from. You know, so like I have a wide range of clients, and they're at the end of the day, they're just looking for help.
Okay. It's good to know. I mean,
Yeah, it's,
you know,
it's very interesting.
it is very interesting. What else do you want people to know? What's your website address?
Yes. So my website is ACTsavi.com. So ACTsavi.
And we'll post that on the
Yes.
site as well.
Yeah, and I have like a contact. I also have a calendar widget built in, so like you can always message me through that prompt, or you can like set some time on my calendar if it's available, and always get a hold of me that way. And I mean, I'm part of Culver City Biz too, so like I try to come out to the events, and I'm always open for conversation. Like I won't.
I think
I don't
we
charge.
met you in August, right? In the at the August event.
Yes.
Were you referred to us by someone?
I actually was part of the Culver City unofficial group.
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
and somebody posted that.
You
and
and
might
your
have
wife
actually,
came.
Yes.
No, you came to.
It was.
Was it the July or the August one?
It was the one that was near like the Holy Cross Memorial.
Yeah, it was at the Beverlywood complex.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was that July? September?
I don't even know what month
I
we're
don't
in
even
right now.
know. Yeah.
I don't know
But,
where we are.
but yes, I remember I met you briefly, and then you guys had to leave early.
Yes.
That's
yeah,
what happened.
That's,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what happened. I remember that. Okay. Wow, it's so interesting, you know, like people that you meet and then you forget, and then it just like jogs your memory. Let's see, we have another. Do you do all the work yourself? Yes, he does, right?
So
but when you're talking about AI, I think it gets a little confusing.
yeah, right. So I pretty much do as much as I can on my own. I have a network of people that I can reach out to in case I need like search support, I guess you could say. But I am a self-funded business. I built all the products I try to build on my own, and I don't really rely on like outside parties unless I like really need it. So, and we'll discuss that if it gets to that point as well. So, yeah.
Good. Okay. What else do you want them to know? I mean, I already put
Your chance to
website
sell your
in there.
business right now.
Yeah.
Tell us anything you want them to know.
Yes, definitely. So I think the way that I really wanted this business to go when I first envisioned it a few years ago is I really wanted to help the community as much as possible. You know, and if you have like questions or anything that like in the tech sense, I'm trying to be your tech expert pretty much. And I think a lot of the things is if you can dream it, I can build it. And that's kind of the mentality I want to have my clients to have as well. Like I want to do this crazy thing, and I just want to know if this could even work. You know, and that's what I'm here to help. And I try my best to, and not just try my best. I pride myself in trying to give as best product as possible. And anybody who knows me would probably know that I definitely try everywhere I do it. So like everything I try to do, I always make sure I do my best. So yeah.
It's loud. See, we're live.
I hope that's not for me. Yeah, they kept going.
That sounded like a fire engine, though.
Yeah, well, you never know.
What I was going to ask you, so if people are having technical issues, let's say with their computer, is that something that you can also help with?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can definitely help with that. I try not to do too much hands-on at that point, but
Okay.
I can at least help with like understanding what the problem is.
Okay.
And from there,
We'll talk when we
yeah.
get there.
So you can go to them and look at their computer and see what's going on to
Yeah,
kind of better help them understand what is happening.
Yeah, and I can even do remote support too. Like if there's
Okay.
something that you're just like, hey, I'm having this random error pop up on my
You
computer.
could go into my computer and you could fix it from remotely.
Depends on the problem. But yeah, like there's other ways we can do it. I just want to help. I think that's the best way to put it. It's like I'm here to help.
So that would be more of technical support
Yes.
rather than building something like the website and all that.
Right.
So I was just curious because some of our, especially people on the Culver City Biz group may already have some of their stuff done, but they might need some technical support from time to time.
Yeah, and that's definitely something I can help with. I like to be a process documenter, I guess you could say. So like I build out processes and like create like actual documentation. Like this is how to actually do all this. So like along the lines, I kind of picked up actually fixing computers and making sure that I can make sense of it and tell the client like, hey, like this is the problem you're having. Like this is how to fix it.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, definitely a service I can offer as well.
And also, you know, I'm talking to the Culver City Biz group now, but basically we have a lot of little micro businesses in there, and some of you don't have a website yet. So this could be a great person to contact
Why not?
and get those websites going, because I think he's right. You need to have somewhere to direct people to go to and to find you and to have connection to you and your whatever you're selling, your service or your wares, and it makes it a little bit easier. Even if you are showing, like let's say at a craft fair, let's say you make candles or something and you're showing at a craft fair, it's really nice to be able to hand out a card or a QR code that takes them right to your website in case they don't want to purchase there, but they want to remember you for the next time. You know, those are really good things, and we do have a lot of people like that in our business group.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they will reach out to you.
Yeah, and if you also need digital media, I can help with that as well.
Alright.
Not digital, but printed media. Like if you wanted pamphlets and stuff like that, so to give
Okay.
out. So
Alright, one-stop shop.
yeah, pretty much one-stop shop.
Alright.
How important is a QR code?
Um,
I feel like more and more is happening with that. So
Yeah, I mean, important. Maybe not necessarily important. It's kind of the delivery that's important. So like if you have a QR code on your website, the whole point of it is for them to scan to go somewhere.
Okay.
Right. So sometimes on the website it can help, but it's not like the most ideal place because you're not going to scan like a computer screen.
Right.
But if you have it on printed media, instead of having to type out your website, it makes it super easy for a user.
For someone to just click their phone.
Yeah, and that makes it super easy. Once it's super easy, like people tend to do it.
Exactly.
If you give them an extra step, a lot of people are like, I don't want to do that.
So it's easy, it's instant gratification.
Yes, exactly.
That's all the stuff we need in our businesses these days, right?
Right there.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah, I learned
coming
a lot.
to
That was-
talk to
that
us
was good.
today. We
Of course.
learned a lot, and I hope you guys all learned a lot. And please contact Karim. I put his website into the comments, and it's ACTsavi.com. We will see you at our next event, which is on November 6th. It's at the By Your Side Dance Studio in Marina Del Rey at 2929 Washington Boulevard. There's 2 locations of that, so please make sure you go to the
Come
one
to the
in
right one.
Marina. And
important.
you know, as always, I try to encourage everyone to carpool, take an Uber, Lyft, Waymo, whatever gets you there, a bike, walk. But sometimes parking can be hard at places. I don't know what the parking is like at some of these places that we put up. So we are hoping that you guys kind of take that into consideration. And we will see you over there. It's going to be a fun event, lots of music and dancing as well. So come join us, okay? 4:30 on November 6th. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Have
Have
a
a
great
good
weekend,
weekend.
guys.
Thank you.